July meeting, July of 2026, this is a rescheduled meeting of the City of Scranton Zoning Hearing Board will now come to order. Will the zoning officer please take roll?
Mr. Walsh.
Here.
Mr. McDermott.
Here.
Mr. Morris.
Here.
Mr. Mattias. Here. Mr. Chairman.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. In accordance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Law, this board shall render a decision on each case either at the end of the hearing or within 45 days of the hearing. If you are to give testimony in a case, please come to the podium, raise your right hand, and wait to be sworn in. After being sworn in, state your name and address, and then proceed with your testimony. Also, anyone giving testimony who does not become a party of the case may obtain a written decision from the zoning office. I also have two announcements of law. If you are granted a variance or a special exception, you must wait 30 days from the date of our decision to obtain the necessary permits to start work. However, you may obtain a permit sooner by signing a waiver that any work done during that 30-day period is at your own risk. A favorable decision by this board shall expire 12 months from the date of said authorization in accordance with Article 10.3C of the zoning ordinance. If you fail to obtain the necessary permits or do not comply with any or all conditions of said authorization, you must seek an extension. Any remarks from the board?
Just one, I'd like to introduce myself, Joe Mattias. I'm a new member of the zoning board. I was appointed by the city council for a 5-year term.
Okay.
Just one,
Turn your mic on, Joe.
just one quick question. I know that there was two other gentlemen that were reappointed, myself with 3 on the board. So Attorney Penetar, is it proper to do a board reorg with the 3 that are there, making you temporary chair, or wait until the first of the year?
We're going to wait until the first of the year because the 2 of the 3 were already serving.
Okay,
So
just
we're
a
going to continue with
just a
the same
question.
board.
I know on previous boards, we did the reorg there because the terms were starting all on July, like July 1, and July 1. So I just didn't know if it was proper to ask for that now. That's why I asked for guidance from you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you.
Don, can you attest to and verify the postings?
Yes, they were posted by Mr. Evans. I did speak with him last week and confirmed that they were done.
And I did see them out there. We're set.
First case.
Case number 1, Alcarm LLC seeks special exception to change one non-conforming use to another, retail flower shop to daycare center at 2328 Pittston Avenue.
Attorney Durkin, because some of the board members were not here for the June meeting, I'm just going to recap real quick, and you can add or subtract from it as you wish. This is a change for a special exception, changing from one non-conforming use, which was a retail flower shop, to another non-conforming use, which is now a daycare center. So we're under Article 9.2E, which governs changes from one non-conforming use to another. The board, I believe, Mr. Durkin said previously there were 2 apartments and a flower shop at the property. He asked that the daycare is the primary use and to close the 2 apartments. Am I correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and the board was concerned with drop-off and pickup area and parking. If you want to add, go ahead.
Sure. So
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. Attorney Penetar, in the past, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, we do have 3 members from the board that were here that night for testimony. Usually in the past, the 2, like in this case, 2 that weren't here, just didn't vote on this case.
As long as we have a quorum that can vote,
we do have a quorum of 3 to do the vote.
We'll go with the 3 that heard the previous testimony.
There was testimony throughout it, and I think in all fairness to them.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
So since the last meeting, where we, a couple of concerns were raised, we had went back to the architect that we're working with and came up with, I don't know if I have enough for everybody, a plan to address some of the concerns that were raised. Initially, my client will testify that there's going to, she's, in light of the issues that you raised, that her expectation is to keep the number of kids that would be at the daycare at 20, and the number of employees at 3, and pursuant to the plans that they developed, and I think she also had a chance to talk with Mr. King, regarding them and make some adjustments to them based on his comments, there would be a total of 9 parking spaces on the property for primarily workers. The drop-off, this was a topic at the last time raised, but the drop-off has always been on Duncan Street. It's never been on Pittston Avenue. There's never been any consideration that there would be pickup or drop-off on Pittston Avenue. It's all designed to be on Duncan Street. So as part of the new drawing, they have a fenced-in play area in the back. The parking would be along Kirst Court. And I think Mr. King raised, an issue about having some buffers along the edges of the parking, which are, drawn into the plan. So that's where we've been since. We were in front of you all in June. We're hopeful that this addresses, the concerns that the board raised, and I'm ready to have my client tell you about it.
I was by there today and yesterday, and I've seen your parking, where you're looking to do it. We are going to require that to be paved parking.
Yes, right,
okay?
yes.
And the same as the 2 spots on the side of the building as well.
Yes.
I think from the last meeting, my concerns, I think you've met. Our major concern then was a parking. At that point, you really didn't have any. So, I don't know if the board, the people that were here last time have any questions or anything.
I do. When looking at it, parking along the alley, parking into the alley itself, those spots,
That's where we could fit it.
Right.
Like that, it would be parking off the alley,
Yes.
but on the property,
Right.
itself.
what I was looking at also is on the Duncan Street side,
Yes,
between the 2 existing, I'll say driveways,
yes,
from the telephone pole to that lower driveway, you could fit easy 2 cars there if that's something that's permittable. And even below that, down to the alley, would be easier access, because from the alley to the grade
yes.
of the grass, it's up from 2 to 3 feet elevation.
Right.
So,
I think like if the need came, like going forward, certainly, that would be, something that we can consider. I'd also like to point out, my client lives, the application's from the LLC. My client, they live 2 blocks away, so that, they have, they're not going to be parking there. But I think notwithstanding that, we're hopeful that this satisfies, what the board was, the concerns the board had at the last meeting.
Is anyone here to give testimony in this case? So I want to entertain a motion with the stipulation that all parking be paved. And I see you have your buffers and everything that, evidently Mr. King spoke to you about, so just as long as they're adhered to. And that's it.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second. No, we need an initial motion. I was just telling the stipulations I wanted on it, so I need someone to make the motion and then a second.
Okay, I make the motions that the motion that the chairman stated, and I'll second.
I'll second it.
On the motion, Mr. Welby,
Yes?
Mr. McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
No, he's not, it comes to me
No,
now.
he can't vote.
Just the three.
Gattens.
Mr. Gattens.
Yes, by a vote of 3-0, you've been approved, and good luck.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Case number 2, Cherlie Souverain seeks special exception to change one non-conforming use to another, martial arts studio to retail store at 1849 Bloom Avenue, R8 zone.
I do. Cherlie Souverain.
Just speak into the microphone so we could hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Pull it down.
You could pull it down a little bit.
Thank you. Yes, I'm here for the property I just purchased on 1849 Bloom Avenue. Although the office told me I needed to be here to get permission to do a retail, but according to my real estate attorney, the documents he provided me with stated the property was already under retail. But with that being said, even if I do not need permission or not, I still have a few requests that I'd like to make on that property.
Don, are we going from one non-conforming use to another here?
That's what we have.
Yeah, that's what we have. There'd be a special exception. It was a former VFW
Yes,
post, I
years
believe,
ago.
and then it was a
Yeah.
martial arts studio. Now she wants to do some
So
retail.
the reason you're here is because it was a different type of business at one time. Now you're changing that type of business. So it's like one non-conforming use to another. That's why you had to appear
Yeah.
here, to get approval for it.
There was some confusion, I think, with the Realtor, that they looked at the zoning map and they thought it was already in a commercial zone, but it's
Yeah.
actually a residential zone.
Yeah.
So this don't make any changes, the one the real estate attorney gave me?
I really can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, these documents the attorney gave me, it doesn't make much of a difference. Because
You're here, though. Let's hear your case, you know?
Okay, which is fine. And the request that I'd like to make, can I make them right now?
So I'm going to ask you questions here. I think we're better off if we ask some questions.
Okay.
So what are you looking to put in there now?
Oh, retail shop.
Okay. Now, do you own the building?
Yes,
Do you own that parking lot across the street?
yes.
Okay. And what kind of hours you're going to have there?
What was that?
What, your business hours?
I didn't hear you properly.
Your business hours, like what would you be open and closed?
9 to 5, possibly 6.
7 days a week, 6 days a week?
6 days.
Okay. Any questions? Paul, anything? Joe? Turn your mic on, Joe, make sure it's on.
May I ask, what type of retail?
I will start with products like wellness and beauty cares, and go along with what the community wants to bring in, as long as it falls under the retail category. I'd like to communicate with my community.
Don, do we know if she has enough parking spots across the street? Because
Big time.
More than enough to
More
meet
than enough.
our minimum
Yes.
requirements.
It's,
that's a very narrow street going between, Oak and Market.
yes, it's just Oak Street that separate them two, and it takes about 30 cars.
Nothing in front of the neighbors' houses or
No.
nothing?
There's about 30 spots over there.
Thank you.
Bob, anything? Is there anyone else here to give testimony in this case? Nothing?
I'll make a motion, we move this to a vote.
Second?
On the motion, Mr. Welby,
Yes?
Mr. McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Matievich,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, by a vote of 5-0, it's been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with it.
The questions that I wanted to ask, can I go now? Can
Yeah,
I-
just get into that mic so we can hear you.
No, I was just asking the question I wanted to ask, some requests I'd like to make. Can I make them right now?
I'm having a hard time. Why don't you reach out to Don at his office,
Oh, just,
and he'll be
okay.
able to answer the questions.
All right, no problem.
All right, good luck with your
Thank you so
business.
much.
Good luck.
Case number 3, Jeremy Lopez seeks variance to recognize the basement dwelling as the third unit at 1129 Amherst Street, R10 zone.
Yes. Jeremy Lopez. I have some pictures on my iPad, if I can approach, and I can give you my iPad. I have the same ones on my phone, just to give you a better idea of what the setup is for the unit. All right? These are the pictures right here. You can swipe this way. That's the entire basement there.
Can you guys see it?
So basically what we're looking to do is previous owner at some point finish that to maybe 80% or something like that. They may have been using it as, I don't know, maybe for a college student or teenager or something, kind of like their own space. It does have 2 entrances. There's an entrance in the rear of the building and one on the side. There's full-size windows. Do you want me to go back here? Or?
Yes, please.
There's a full bathroom in there, what seems to be like a partially built kitchen. The cabinets are there. I think they might have taken I think the plumbing was all there. It just took off the countertop because they needed to get access to that back wall for something. And it has it's probably 7.5 foot ceilings, 7.5, 8 foot ceilings. So it's, I would say 80% done. So we're looking to try to turn that into its own unit, which would be a 1-bedroom apartment, since it has all its own stuff. And as far as the parking space, I know that's usually an issue we have. We do have, one of the pictures I think shows my truck all the way to the side, so we have enough room for 2 other vehicles for the other 2 tenants that are on there.
Now, you have tenants in there right now on your first and second floor, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, there's a tenant on the first floor and a tenant on the second floor.
Looks like there's a parking pad in the back. Is
That's
that-
correct, yeah.
And how many cars can you fit there?
3.
Were you before us before?
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
thought so.
This unit, the house was set up, it was a duplex that was only had the entranceway that was opened. They opened that up and turned it into a 1-family, but all we did was literally close that hallway where the 2 doors are, and it was completely separated. But at some point, they had the basement also set up the way you saw it on here. So we were thinking that we have room there for a small 1-bedroom or a studio type apartment.
Don, with 3 apartments there, is 3 parking spots enough? That's 3 off-street? Is it 1 per apartment?
1 per apartment,
One per
that's our
apartment,
requirement.
yes.
And are you going to turn that into its own dwelling, or are you going to share utilities
No,
with
there's-
one of the other dwellings? Because there's 2 electrical meters on the facility right now. So you're going to rewire it and go to a service with 3?
That's correct. So if approved, we would add a third meter and create that apartment, put everything on that apartment on its own meter. Just be electric baseboard heaters, and that's about it. You know, everything electric. So that should be sufficient to handle a small unit like that. Maybe another 100 amp service.
Do you have a property manager for that?
I pretty much manage it myself because I'm local.
Is there anyone else here to give testimony in this case? I have concerns with overcrowding the neighborhood. I understand you have the park in the back. I don't know if you got a permit from the city for a curb cut back there, but the pad's in. But I feel that area is tight to begin with, and I'm not seeing your meeting make the requirements for a variance on this.
We wouldn't be moving a family in there. It would literally be a studio, one person, possibly two, but that's about it. It wouldn't, and it has two entrances, so it's not, this really has its entrance around the back. The entrance for this unit would actually be on that street where the parking lot is. It wouldn't actually be, yeah.
The rear of Amherst, which is Sloan Street, right?
I'm sorry?
Sloan Street?
Yeah, I believe it's Sloan
Sloan
Street, yeah. That would be the entrance. That would be the main entrance because it would come in through the parking lot and then come in through that side.
And that pad you have there was an old garage that was tore down probably years ago?
That's probably what it was, yeah. I'm not aware of what was there before, but that's what I think happened.
And you're going to stay away from the front of Amherst because that's a narrow street going up one way, right?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, so they would have their entrance. I mean, it would make sense more for them to come in from Sloan Street than Amherst. So this would be more like that, that type of entrance there. And then the side entrance is in between the two houses, so we do have another, there's two entrances. And all the windows are like full-size windows. They're not the little tiny basement windows. I know it says basement, but when you're down there, it kind of feels like a one-bedroom apartment. It doesn't really look like a, it doesn't feel like a bedroom, basement.
Lower level would have sounded.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's about 2 steps off, when you're going down into it, it's about 2 or 3 steps from ground level. That's about it.
What is the square footage of the?
I would say 600 square feet, 800 square feet, so it's somewhere in between there. It's the same size as the first floor, layout-wise, but it's just everything all at once there.
So how many bedrooms would be in there?
There would be one bedroom, that's it. One bedroom, it would be just one 10 by, maybe 10 by 10, 10 by 12 bedroom.
And that does have a window to the outside?
Yeah, it has a window and there's also a door on that side, so that would be the second door.
Just look at this. Ready? Anything else? Anything else? Make a motion.
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
On the motion, Mr. Welby,
Yes.
Mr. McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Matievich,
No, not for the concerns of the neighborhood, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to vote no, and basically the same reason. I'm concerned with the overcrowding there, and I'm not impressed with the condition of the back of that property that you've had for a couple of years right now, so I'll be voting no, but you've been approved by a vote of 3-2. Please clean up the back of that property. That's one of the concerns I did hear from the neighbors there.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, case number 4 asked to be continued until the September meeting. They weren't available for this rescheduled meeting. Case number 5, they had made changes to their project since they put in this application and don't require the parking. They were asking for a parking variance. They since lessened their retail space, so they no longer require the parking variance.
Is that off the table?
Yeah, that's off the agenda.
And that's the cigar lounge?
I'm sorry?
The cigar lounge, is that the one?
Yes.
Troianiello, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
Cigar lounge, yeah.
So they don't
Yeah.
need a variance, so that's withdrawn.
Yeah. They lessened their cafe space and decided they wanted a larger humidor. Case number 6. RUKH Development LLC seeks variance from height requirement for the development of 4 6-unit, 3-story townhouse buildings at parcel, I will skip the parcel number, Montage Mountain Road and Glenmora National Boulevard in a planned recreation zone.
And before we start, Mr. King, for clarity for the board, we are only here for the height restriction on this case, nothing else.
Correct. The townhouses are an allowed use in that zone.
And parking has been met?
Parking's been met.
Okay, so we're just here for the height restriction. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Angelo Tirana. I'm the attorney representing your applicant this evening. Your applicant has entered into an agreement of sale in order to purchase this 29-acre parcel. 8 acres is located in Scranton City, and approximately 21 acres, is located in the borough of Moosic.
Me? No, not an engineer. P-A-T-R-I-C-K, M-C-L-A-I-N-E.
Mr. Chair, there are other individuals who will be speaking this evening. Would it be, as they come up?
Again, just for the purposes of the record, Angelo, Attorney William T. Jones, I'm here for Hemingway Development, a party to this, the property here, that they're interested in the property next door.
The purpose of the evening tonight is that there are 4 6-unit townhouse buildings that are planned to be erected and a clubhouse in Scranton City. We do not meet the requirements set forth in Section 3.2 of the ordinance relating to height. The proposed buildings are 40 feet. Your ordinance creates a maximum of 25 feet. My first witness will be Pat. Pat, if you can go up to where the drawing is. Sure. Pat, if you can state your name for the record. And who do you work for? Are you employed by?
I work for KSG Engineers, civil engineering company located in downtown Scranton.
What professional qualifications do you have?
I've practiced civil engineering in the state of Pennsylvania for close to 30 years. I'm a licensed professional engineer.
And you've been engaged by the applicant with respect to this project. Can you provide a description of the site to the zoning board?
Sure. The property is located, as the attorney mentioned, approximately 30 acres located on Montage Mountain. It is between Montage Mountain Road and between Glenmora National Boulevard. It is gently sloped, and in some cases drastically sloped with some cliffs that we're avoiding. There are streams. It does exist on a watershed divide. There will be driveway access.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
There will be driveway access onto Montage Mountain Road as well as Lakeview Drive, which is the cul-de-sac where the new Geisinger facility, and also have, this might be tough to see, so I about half sizes of the exact same thing. Sure, I apologize. Okay.
Okay. Do you mind if I pass out 11 by 17s of the exact same plan that you're seeing on the easel?
And Mr. Chair, while he's passing those out, I would just ask that those drawings be acknowledged as applicant's exhibit number 1.
I got a better copy. Thanks, Patrick.
So the project will compose of 210 multifamily units, all in Moosic. There are 30 townhome units proposed, 24 of which will be in Scranton. There is a clubhouse proposed, which will be community only, of this community only, that is located in Scranton. It's approximately 8,000 square feet. As I mentioned about the driveways, now I know it's an important issue on this mountain. There was a concern during events of the traffic on Montage Mountain Road. So we've engaged a traffic consultant who has provided an analysis of the development. And I'd like to just post that, a couple of recommendations in here.
If I can, just for the purposes of the record, I'm here for Hemingway development for this small area down here. I believe that we're going far afield for a height. We're here on one issue, whether height should be varied from 25 feet to 40 feet. So my objection goes to relevance. I don't see what a traffic study would have or wouldn't have with regard to the height of a particular structure. I just don't see where.
I'm going to have to agree with Mr. Jones. If we're just here for the height, I think this is probably more conducive to when you go before music with the testimony
and
there.
I'll concentrate on more relevant points.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
The townhomes are located in the city of Scranton, portion of the property, which is in the back here. You can see it. This is the clubhouse also. The city of Scranton and Wood's municipal boundary is this line right here on your drawing. So significant portion of the property is in Wood's, small pieces of that is in Scranton. Right behind these townhomes is an existing natural cliff of 30 to 60 feet high. So it's vegetated, it's beautiful. These are they're going to be highly prized residential units. The townhomes we're proposing are 40 feet, so the elevation behind them will be hundreds of feet high. So they're not blocking anybody's view. There will be driveway accesses all through the property. I think in terms of civil engineering, there's not much else I could present unless Attorney Tran thinks there's something that I might want to mention.
But if you can just follow again the characteristics of the surrounding properties to the, and I don't know what direction it is, but behind the property, you know,
Sure.
what's contained there?
So to the south, on the other side of Montage Mountain Road, it's vacant land. To the east is the Bank of America building. There's some vacant land as well as the pavilion at Montage. To the north is the Geisinger Clinic, and to the west is the Geisinger Clinic I previously mentioned. The Geisinger Clinic to the north is on the other side of Glenmar National Boulevard.
So in your opinion, there would be no obstruction of any view with respect to the increase of 15 feet, the variance is being requested?
I would agree with that. No obstruction.
And the essential element of the variance granting is there has to be some peculiar characteristic relating to this particular property. You briefly touched upon it in regards to the topo. Can you elaborate a little bit greater with the board so they have a clear understanding of the impact of the difficulty in constructing the property and in developing it?
Sure. So given the nature of the property, it is Montage Mountains, so it is on a mountain. This is a relatively gently sloped property, so there is very decent development potential. But there's also, again, it's on the mountain. It does back up against high cliffs, as I mentioned, as well as tree cover, which will be, you know, the goal is to maintain as much of the existing trees as possible. You can see the wetlands through, which are all forested wetlands, meaning they're all vegetated with trees. So they'll be higher than 40 feet for sure. But yeah, just the rolling, sloping nature of the property, in addition to the cliff, which is right behind it, I can't see any negative impact of 15 additional feet of height.
The application also noted the regard to trying to make maximum density. You know, by having the additional 15 feet, what does that do with respect to the density of the property?
So it allows you to get closer to the density. We're within zoning ordinance requirements for density requirement. But what it also allows you to do is not have as much pavement, not have as much surface area, which is better for the environment.
Once again, just for the purposes of the record, I'd like an objection. I don't see what pavement has to do. We're not here on density as advertised and on their application. We're here on height. If we were getting into density, I would have brought a whole series of different experts to deal with that. So if it isn't in front of the board, I don't know why we're doing it.
Excuse me, I think that when you're going to speak, we're going to need you into a microphone.
Thank you.
Okay, because I can't get it all, and I imagine some others
Again,
can't get
can we just go back to the height on this here?
Sure. Yeah, but I think the point that I'm trying to make on the height is that is better for the environment. It's better for the surrounding neighborhoods because there's less impervious area. If we weren't going to go higher, we'd have to go wider.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to hear when he's talking about the other parts of the project, because height is one thing, but height and then what the rest of the project looks like would bear into
We
my
have
decisions.
nothing before us tonight is anything but the height.
Right, so as he's talking about the project, the height is something that basically we're going to be voting on.
Right.
But he is explaining the project. He's here before us talking about all his plans. We know the height is 15 feet. He's looking for 15 feet. But in order to make a good decision, I would like to know about the project, because that's going to weigh on my decision for the height. So that's why I don't have a problem him speaking. Unless anyone else has a problem, I don't, as a board member.
If I can just address that, I would have prepared for it if we were going to do what would ordinarily be in front of your planning commission, or more importantly, they have another application in front of music. So this particular project that they have in front of you may or may not even go, they're asking for variances down there. So what's shown on that particular plan isn't what is going to get built unless there's a series of administrative and possibly even legal challenges. I think that it's prejudicial to my client if we're going beyond what's advertised in the NPC. If you said we want to deal with land development tonight, I would have brought people for land development. If we're dealing with whatever it is, density issues, I would have taken a look at that. I don't see how any objectors could be here tonight for, we're now going to talk about, and if we're going to do it, then my objection's going to
I'd like to concentrate on just the 4 buildings and just the height. Okay.
Thank
The reason he brought out density was he'd rather go higher than wider. That's fine. We'll hear that part of it.
Yep, just another justification.
So Dan, for clarity, could you state that again, what we're entertaining tonight?
It's strictly the height of the 4 buildings on the lower part of that map, which are the 4 buildings in Scranton. Okay? He's telling us the reason he needs the height variance is because if he can't go higher, he needs to go wider.
Right.
I mean, that's his argument. I'm not saying
That's a
it's yes
partial
or no.
argument.
Yeah.
I take exception to that, but our argument relates directly to the topography of the ground.
Okay.
That's number one. This is just ancillary to the main relation to the characteristics of the land in and of itself. Correct, Pat?
Correct.
Anything else you'd like to offer?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further this witness.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones?
Thank you. I don't mean to interrupt. If the board has any questions at this point, if not, I would move to cross-examination.
Bill, take that mic with you then.
We're going to have to ship this back, all right?
But Pat, why don't you come over here? You can utilize this.
If I can, Mr. McLean, I'm looking at just the units that are in Scranton. I see that there's a building footprint. What is the length and width of the building footprint?
It's 8,000 square feet. I believe it's 100 by 80. Parking, it's outdoor recreation facilities as well.
So each building's 180 feet long?
I apologize. I thought you were referring to the recreation slash.
No, I'm only looking at the,
I see. They're approximately 120, I don't have exact measurements on here, by 30 foot approximately.
I had an engineer look at it. He says it's 130 by 45, just using your scale. Would that be fair enough?
Yeah.
All righty. Now, with regard to the, you said you could go wider on this. So you could actually get the same number of units on this particular parcel. You just have to make it wider, is that it?
Correct, with the negative impact to the environment and to stormwater management. And
But there's no reason you can't meet the criteria of the stormwater ordinance.
I don't believe so. We've met with DEP. I don't believe so.
Okay, so you can build them according to the literal terms of the ordinance. All righty, now, with regard to the size of the unit, how many square feet are in each unit?
Attorney Jones, the architect is going to testify next. He would be more appropriate to answer these questions.
I'm sorry, Andrew.
The architect is going to speak next. So he'll testify next. He can provide you with the data that you're looking for. With respect to the design of the building, Pat was only engaged in regard to the engineering component of the development, so he wasn't directly involved with the planned units.
But Mr. McLean will be subject to recall. You'll still keep him available if this gentleman can't?
Yeah, he's not going anywhere, so.
No, that's fine, as long as you'll stipulate he'll be available for a recall on that. Now, you did talk about topography here, so, and I can see two topo lines on there. Can you tell me from the street to the rear of the building, what is the topography? What's the elevation?
Depending on the building, approximately 20 feet.
That's what I figured too. All righty. So with regard to each one of the structures, would it be fair, so you're going to have 6 units in each structure, is that correct?
Correct.
All righty. And you're going to have a, what is it, a 1-car or 2-car garage?
2-car, I imagine?
If you don't know, you don't know. Okay.
There will be a garage, that's what I understand.
Okay, and the unit itself, would it be fair to say it's roughly around 22 feet wide? If we were to divide 6 into 130, I'd say 21.6, but I rounded up.
Yes.
Okay. And is there a reason you have a 2-car garage there under the terms of the ordinance? Or if you don't know, you don't know?
Yeah, we're no parking restriction. I believe the goal is to provide a high-quality product for the tenant.
Okay, but you could have just 1 garage, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you could, are you familiar with the townhouses that are on Music Mountain, say in phases 1 through 3?
I am.
Okay, they have 1-car garage, is that correct?
I'm not that familiar, but I am familiar with the project.
Okay. And if you had a 1-car garage, you could pull a car in and park another car behind, is that correct?
I would imagine you could depend on the layout.
Okay. What's the setback for the buildings that are in the city of Scranton there?
I don't know. There's no intention to create roads with that will be dedicated to the city.
No, I wasn't asking that. From the curb to the front of the building?
It varies. In some cases, it is 25 feet, 30 feet.
Okay. Well, the ordinance says 30 feet. You're not asking for a variance from that, are you?
No.
Okay. Now, with regard to the topo behind the topography, the elevation behind those 4 units, would it be fair to say that the property goes up?
Yes.
Okay. So whatever cliff there is or there isn't in this area, it's nowhere near the back of that property that's going to affect the construction of any of these units. Is that correct?
I don't think it'll affect construction. I think it'll be, I personally think it's going to be a very nice benefit for the homeowners. The goal, the placement of the units was based on to avoid the cliff.
No, that's great aesthetics. I'm just here with regard to this particular piece of property. You could build all of these units 130 by 145 on that site, and there's no problem with any restriction as for topography or cliffs or anything else.
If you were going to go deeper, it would be a concern because you'd be backing up against those cliffs.
Okay, so I don't mind rephrasing it. With regard to the proposal that you have in front of the board tonight, you're showing 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings in the city of Scranton. You can build those 4 buildings and you are not affected by any topography constraints, including a cliff.
So when you say impacted by, it's definitely a construction cost issue that the developer has to deal with.
Okay, well, let's stay right on this. Okay, if we can, see 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to build these 4 buildings, is that correct?
Correct.
And so far we've listed that they're going to be 30 feet back from that particular road, right?
Correct.
Okay, in the back here, I'm looking at the topo lines. There's no cliff behind, immediately behind where you're showing the footprints of these buildings. Is there is. How far back?
In this case, it looks like it's 30 or 40 feet.
Okay, 30 or 40 feet, so we would hope that 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings could be built on these footprints. And they're not affected by that cliff. You don't have to put.
Yeah, they do.
You don't have to move any rock to build those 4 buildings. No. Okay. So we know we can build 4 buildings in the city of Scranton. We know that you have enough land that you could spread them out on that particular piece of property, still get the same number of units, right? I have no further questions at this time for the witness, subject that he's still subject to recall. If their architect can further answer any other questions. Thank you very much, Mr. McLean. You're always very professional.
Pat, if you want to pass those out too, so. No, he's swearing.
You swear affirm the testimony about to give the matter to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You spell your first and last name. My first name is Nehal, last name is Jhari.
I don't know what happened to the mic. Oh. Attorney Jones, if you can. Sure, take the mic. Thanks. Go if you want.
Okay.
Nahal, will you state your name for the record?
Sure. My name is Nehal Zaveri,
And who are you engaged by?
by Rukh Development.
And you're employed by?
I am self-employed. I am principal at NJ Architecture LLC.
And as you just noted, you are the engaged architect with respect to this project.
That is correct.
And to that end, you've created a series of drawings and plans. If you can provide a narrative to the board as to what your work product.
Can I go ahead? Would you like to?
So, if, so, yep. Yep. correct. So we're only talking this evening, as noted, with the 4 townhouse units. So with respect to that, we should limit the conversation and the testimony to those 4 buildings.
Am I presenting the renderings?
Yes. Mhm.
If I can, just for the purposes of the record, is there a handout in the exhibits that would be on the
Yes.
record?
That's the only one I have. For floor plans, this you can,
Thank you.
I think we submitted this before, the renderings we did submit before, so that's what I have in house.
Okay.
So I did a review of your records, and just for the purposes of today, none of this is in the record for the zoning hearing.
Correct.
Correct. We're submitting them this evening.
No, then I misunderstood. I probably said.
No. No.
And before we start, for clarity, we're looking at the townhouses and the clubhouse. Now, does the clubhouse coming under this for the height variance, or just
The clubhouse meets the requirements.
Okay.
There's no request with respect to those, just the 4 townhouse-style buildings.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
You can proceed.
Yes, okay. So here, what we have is sheet number A3. We have floor plans for the townhouses. All the townhouses are identical. All the 6 townhouses, cluster of townhouses are identical. We have first floor plan, second floor plan, and the third floor plan. Contrary to the understanding before, we do have 1-car garage. We don't have 2-car garage. And overall height, so we have 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. All 3 bedrooms are on the upper floor. So if I can walk you through here, I'm sorry, you don't have the handout.
No, that's okay.
So on the first floor, you would enter right next to the garage. You would take the stairs upstairs. You have a room, family room in the back. You go to the upstairs. You have an open floor plan of kitchen, dining, and living area with one other full bathroom and a den because most of the people also now try to work from home also. So we have an office on the first floor. Second level. And the third level, we have 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. All of these are identical. They also have balconies in the front and back for aesthetics of it. Total height right now, what we are calling out is about 39 feet, is to the peak of the roof. Pretty much what we have is about 9 feet floor to floor height, depending on the structure that we can come up with it. So it's going to be 8 foot 6 to 9 foot floor to floor, every floor side, ceiling height. As far as the materials are concerned, we have this stucco or cement siding panels. We have stone and we have brick. Those are the materials that we have on the front and the back of the building. You have the renderings. I think if you go pretty much to the last page, I'm going to put up here. This is the rendering. Sir, I think you should also have that. The rendering, the last page. That's pretty much what we envision, the cluster of 6 townhouses.
So looking at that, it's 40 feet to the peak is what you're saying?
It's 39, yeah, something to the peak.
The ordinance calls for 25.
25.
So that 15 feet is going to give you the peak plus a little bit more on the 3rd floor.
Yes, sir.
And a 40-foot structure, from a safety perspective,
Right.
you know, I know all of the emergency service equipment, they have 85 to 100-foot ladders, so there wouldn't be any problem
It
with
shouldn't be
any
any problem.
type of fire safety, you know, with those, with the type of equipment that we have today.
That is correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, attic is not inhabitable space anyway, so it should be. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Nahal, the testimony surrounding the topography, in your expert opinion, how does the topography affect your ability to design on this particular project site?
I mean, again, in the front, it's going to be flat, so we're going to try to make it out where we can work with the access to directly to the garages, so that works. But certainly, there is a lot of difference between front and back all the way, so we had to account that also. And once we go into more details about all this design and all that, we may have to make some adjustments to the first floor level, so to speak. So primarily, the second and third level would be more of a living area.
So are there more cuts that would be required for the construction?
Object for foundation. Now, I don't know if we're in Scranton or in Music. One fellow says it's fairly flat. I asked about the topo. I don't see a topo plan here. It looks like we're dealing with 20 foot, and that's out from the road, not from the start of the building. So we're not getting any clarity on any of it. Got 30 feet back, so
He's the architect,
Yeah.
so overruled. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah,
So with respect to that, how does that affect the design and the construction?
well,
So you said, you made reference to the front of the property, but in front of the building structure and the driveway, but to the rear, what impact does that have?
right, I mean, again, the higher you go, you're gonna have deeper foundations and things like that. So you try to work with the topo if you possibly can, and try to stay away from it as much as possible. And try to give as much of a flat land when you're building it, rather than building on a steep slope.
Correct,
And that also eliminates a lot of living spaces or another spaces that you can create on the lower level.
So we're here tonight specifically in regards to this property. So how does that conversation or that statement you just made, how does that play into this site?
Well, I mean, since, again, looking at the civil engineering drawing, of course, you have almost 20 feet difference from the road all the way to the back. So that's definitely going to play a big role in, whether you're going to be able to get the entire first floor to use, or whether you're going to be able to get a portion of it to use, and then again, every second and third floor. So your height from the back, it's not going to be 39, 40 feet. It's going to be less. So this is from the maximum point what we are showing, not necessarily from an average or something. So once you start getting to an average, typically that's how the building height could be measured. We could be lower than that, but this is something, the worst case scenario is something what we are trying to go.
Yeah. Do you have an idea what would the rear be, the height?
Not at this time, sorry.
No problem. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Okay, I have nothing further.
if I can, sir.
Yeah.
With regard to your exhibit, you're saying it's a one-car garage?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And you could put a car in the garage, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How deep is that? Around 20 feet?
Yeah, about that.
Okay. All right, so you got 20 feet.
I'm sorry, does it have to do with height? The question that you were asking?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it will. If it didn't, I don't know why you told us. Why'd you tell us if it has nothing to do
Well,
with
I
that?
don't know, you've been asking about height, so we're supposed to
did
talk
that.
about height only.
Oh, okay. Then why'd you tell us about the garage? I'm just curious.
Because somebody brought up to...
All right, so you have a one-car garage, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, and you say it's roughly about 20 feet.
Okay, about that.
Okay. And with regard to the front of this particular unit, from what they submitted here, it's approximately, this building with 6 units, approximately 130 feet.
135 feet, 6 inches or so.
Okay. And it's showing, what do you got here?
45?
45 feet.
That's correct.
All righty. So with regard to the first floor, behind the garage,
About 25 feet, right?
yeah, that's what I figured, somewhere around there. You have living area there, is that correct?
Yeah, it could possibly be a living area, just like a game room or family room or something.
And it looks like you have a bathroom in there?
We have a bathroom right there, yeah, if you don't want to go up.
So on the first floor, you can have a garage here, 20,
Yeah,
and you could have a bathroom and part of a living area. And what's on the second floor, once again, within the confines of the 135 feet
Yes,
by
sir.
45 feet. What's on the second?
Right, so second floor, when you go up here, you have a living, dining, kitchen, and another full bathroom. And, an office.
In an office?
Right.
Okay, and what's on the third floor?
Third floor is 3 bedrooms.
Okay,
And 2. 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
alrighty. Alrighty. Now, you've heard the testimony of the, maybe this will help you, and my apologies. Yes, if we could use this. You heard the testimony of the engineer, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Alrighty. And with regard to this particular property, he says he can build something here. He could get 6 units on there at 130, you have 135, but he can get on there with 130 by 45 feet.
That's good.
There's no reason to dispute that, is that correct?
Yes, this is something engineer figured out, and they told us this is the place where we can build.
Good, good. Okay, so if I came in on your design, and I drove in and I went into your garage,
Yes, sir.
right? All righty, and I park a car behind it, so I meet the terms of the ordinance. Now, I can get living space, I figure about 500-600 square feet behind the garage. You have a bathroom in there and a play area, is that about right?
That is correct. That's something what we are showing as the best case scenario, right?
Okay. Then on the second floor, okay, how many square feet of living area? Approximately
It's about 1,000 square feet.
1,000 square feet?
Right.
Okay. So if I can get a one-car garage on the first floor with 500 or 600 square feet of living area, and if I have 1,000, I think you're right, pretty close on those numbers.
Right.
1,000 on the second floor, right? I could build that unit and put a roof on it, is that correct? Is there something that stops me from putting a roof on there?
I need bedrooms.
Yeah, okay, I give you 1,000 square feet.
4 bedrooms and no living space?
No, can you put living space and bedrooms in 1,000
I can
square
have probably 1 bedroom and living space, yeah.
Sure. Okay. And if you had, well, that fellow that just left here that got a variance, his are 10 by 10.
I know.
So if you had 2 bedrooms, 10 by 10,
Is it theirs is old building or new building?
I would have no idea how new or old his building was.
Yeah.
But if you have a 10 by 10 living area,
Right.
okay, so you can get 2 bedrooms in that 1,000 square feet, is that correct?
2 bedrooms. If I'm doing an apartment, probably people may pay for that 1,000 square feet.
Forget about the money, just asking you as an architect.
Right.
Correct me if
Well,
I'm
I in Jersey City, I have designed something in 700 square feet.
Gentlemen, can we
right? So-
let's get to the point.
I don't know.
Can you get 2 bedrooms in 1,000 square feet?
I can't fit in what I'm looking for in this space for 1,000 square feet.
I'm not asking you what you're looking for.
Yeah, what
But I'm
my
asking
developer
you
is looking for.
Yes, so your client is looking for that. But let me ask a question and you can answer it.
Yes, sir.
So if you had 1,000 square feet, you can get 2 bedrooms in there, is that correct?
If it's an apartment, yes.
Okay, so that'd be 100 and 100, is that right? 10 by 10, what would you get? What's the square foot?
10 by 10, 100 square feet, yeah.
Okay, so if I had 2 bedrooms, I got 200 square feet, is that right?
I mean, I can fit in 10 rooms in 1,000 square feet, right?
Good, yeah, I guess you could.
Exactly,
Okay,
right.
so if I got 2 bedrooms here, now if I have a kitchen area, say I make that whatever it is.
So am I learning architecture from you right now?
I don't know,
Okay.
I'll have to ask my
I'm
mother
sorry.
what she sent me to school. I went to St. Pat's, if that helps.
Yes.
But if we take Beth St. Anne's too, if...
So may I ask your clients'
No.
units, how
You can ask-
bigger they are?
Yeah.
Are they 1,000 square feet for 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom?
All you want, then I'm going to ask you a question. You tell me when you're done lecturing.
No, so go ahead, sir. I mean, you are forcing me to fit in 2 bedroom in 1,000 square feet for a townhouse. What can I say? I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you have anything to say, sir?
I don't know either.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so what we know now is you have 1,000 square feet.
Yes.
You can get...
I think you made your point.
Okay, I'm not done with that floor, so I got...
Yeah, obviously, you could fit all those rooms in it, all the rooms would be smaller.
Yes.
It just goes without, that's just natural. So you made that point.
If I can.
I mean, he would like us to chop off the third floor and put a roof on top of it, that's what he's saying, and not build a
Your point,
townhouse.
you made your
Right,
point.
sir?
Let's go to something else.
If they're going to ask for heights, we're talking about this.
No, I think,
They're not going to change their plans, I think, so how do we just get back to the decision and let's talk about the height, let's get the answers on the height, and let's take a vote.
Definitely.
I mean,
We can have a one-car garage, we can put 6 motorcycles in the garage with electric bikes, you know, and 10 by 10 rooms. I think that
If we can, you were here for that I didn't mean to cut you off. If we can, so we all agree that you can get bedrooms and you can get living area in 1,000 square feet.
in an apartment, yes, for the
You say an
record.
apartment.
Yes.
Okay, are you aware of the townhouses that are in Glenmora Commons now?
No, sir.
That have, does it surprise you that they only have 1,600 square feet?
16, not 1,000? Okay,
Yeah, that's what they have.
I understand.
Okay, so what we have is with a one-car garage
Yeah.
with your first floor, and now what I've asked you on the second floor, we have 1,600 square feet, which are the same as the townhouses that are in Glenmora Commons, which are in this neighborhood.
Okay,
Okay.
yes, sir. I don't know.
So, I don't know if this question is pertinent to you or maybe the engineer. I take it the lot is sloped, has a grade into it. Do you know what the grade is from 0 to?
So from front to back, it is approximately 20 feet of existing conditions. So really, if the driveway, you know, as Nahal mentioned, you're relatively flat to the back of the building, it'd be 20 foot. So what we're envisioning is you'd probably have buried foundation of probably 10 feet.
So from
In the back.
at the lowest point, I will say the driveway, the front of the building, you're requesting for the 40 feet.
Correct.
And what's the measurement going to be from the ground to the back of that building? The same 40 feet or?
In the front, yes.
How about the back?
The back will probably be 30.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to disagree with that. There's nothing in the record that does that. We know that the topography actually in the back goes up, so I'm fascinated with that. I guess it did not. We already heard about, there's a cliff. It's, we're all used to mining in our area. It's not a cliff you're going to fall off. It's a cliff.
He made it.
Keep back to that hill.
So that's,
Yeah, he did.
that's.
So we're going with whatever he, yeah, you can cross-examine him.
Can let me finish my question, all right? I sit in the middle here, so. My question is similar to what I think Mr. Jones is saying. Are you digging out the back of that land and basically fitting this structure in that? So is the back section going to be,
Yes,
I don't want to say underground, but you know what I'm saying, it's sitting recessed into the ground?
exactly. So what we are showing is the best case scenario. Most likely, that back room and all that, we may not get any windows or any living space, so to speak, in there, because it's going to be pretty much basement.
Okay.
Because basement, by definition and all that, when we go to that detail and construction, most likely that's what is going to happen.
All right.
So more or less, that's why I started with it. Our living space is on second and third level only.
Right.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Thank you for the answer as well.
If I can, just to follow up, looking at the back of the properties here, after the building ends, what are those little squares?
They are probably the...
There'll be porches or decks,
Like a-
patios. Yeah. Schematic. First.
Hold on.
Schematic, patios, decks.
Yeah, that's something we don't need to have it, and we can take it out, not a problem, because that's going to be probably on the second level. That's some lines there, right?
Okay, so once again, with regard to these 4 buildings, whether you build them at 25 feet or you build them at 40 feet, and if you were to build one similar to the townhouses at Glenmora with 1,600 square feet, whatever cut and fills you have to do, you'd still have to do it for these footprints. Is that correct?
That was a long question, so I lost it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
And
okay.
without reference to Glenbar, because I don't know the site, might be a flat site, I don't know.
Sure, if I'm going to build a townhouse here
Yes, sir.
with 1,600 square feet, whatever cut and fills I have, I'd still have to make them whether I'm building 1,600 square feet or I'm building 2,200 square feet. Is that correct?
No, incorrect.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Oh, is it less than 45 feet then?
Well, 1,600 square feet, so let's say it's two-story, it's going to be below ground, so I have to cut.
Why would I go below ground?
Exactly, right? So you're going to cut more for that 1,600 square feet. Now I don't have to cut as much, right? Because I have living space up above, right?
Okay, I'm right here now.
Yes, sir.
I come right in off of that driveway.
Yeah.
That's at ground level, correct?
It's pretty much whatever slope they need to have minimum maintained, yeah, they
So
will.
I'm at ground level there.
Yes.
And I can go up. I can go up here 25 feet in the front. Is that correct?
In the front, yes.
Yeah.
You can, yeah.
Sure I can.
Yeah.
Okay, now, in the back, you have designed this for 45 feet.
In the front, I have this, well, 45 feet deep. you
Yes,
say.
sir.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So 45 feet, you're going 45 feet whether you have
Oh,
three
yeah.
levels. So that stays the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then it would be considered basement, not a living space. Yes,
Well-
go ahead.
If I come in at ground level
Yep,
and my front door is there and I walk in my front door,
right.
can I walk to the back to, under my scenario, to 500 square feet that's in the rear, living area? He shows a bathroom and I don't know if it's an office or
Yeah.
something else.
Right.
So I can do that. So I can go 45, whatever you're building.
But that's not a living area where you can have bedrooms if
I
it's
didn't-
below ground.
Didn't say it was a
Okay.
bedroom. So you
Yeah.
got a bathroom there and you have whatever other use other than a bedroom.
Which is not a living space. Yes, go ahead.
That's right. And under any plan, whether you're in the Glenmara or you're even on this plan.
Yes, sir.
You don't have any bedroom on that floor, do you?
On that floor?
On that
Yeah,
floor.
I don't.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
So on the second floor,
But Glenmar has all the living spaces there, right? All the, well, how are they doing
you'd have to ask them.
okay, so why don't we?
Let's get back to the height of this building. We're beleaguering this point beyond
I know I
rationale
can
right now.
build. I know I can build a building, or you're building a building, no matter what you have. It's 45 feet back, right? You're going to cut and fill. This is a mountain. So
Right.
it's been highly developed with cut and fills all the time. So that 45 feet, you're going back whether this thing is 25 feet, or if I asked you to design this like Glenmara's, 1,600 square feet, 25 feet tall, you're still making the same cuts and fills. Is that correct?
No,
No, you're not
No.
going back 45 feet?
I am going back 45, but I'm not getting 600 square feet of living space.
I didn't ask you about that.
And for 25
I
feet
asked
high.
you- I would ask that you be directed to answer my question with regards to cut and fills. The cut and fill's the same for the footprint of that building. Is that correct? No matter
That is
what?
correct.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a thing called walkout basement. Everybody probably should know about it, right? So walkout basement, this is something like that. You come in the front, back, you don't. Simple as that.
Thank you.
I have a question. One thing I believe Mr. Jones is discussing is if you made the building bigger and not as high, would that allow you to get everything you need into that condo, townhouse?
Sir, I guess, again, without impacting the nature, what's around us, I don't think so that's possible. And second thing, again, as far as the height is concerned, we have to take the average of the back and the front when we get a proper idea that it's going to be much less than what we are asking for. So we can make the building wider, definitely. Does it fit in this space? Of course, my fellow engineer will have to figure it out whether it's going to fit in another 10 feet almost for each unit, which is 60 feet for each unit. That's a lot to fit in to all this. Like each cluster will need to have almost 55 to 60 feet additional space to that. Right now it's 135 feet. I'm going to have to go almost probably about 200 feet or so, 180 feet or so, to fit into two-story structure and lower it. That doesn't seem to me very feasible, looking at the spaces in between the building.
Do we know, there are, in Glenmore Commons,
Yes, sir.
there are, I don't know how many townhouses in there. Do we know the existing height of any of those?
I think
I don't think he knows.
I
He can't
don't. Yeah.
We got to say what we got right here.
Again, sir, the thing is, if you put a house on a flat land and as opposed to when you put a house on slope land, there is going to be a difference there. Because what you can get in terms of windows, in terms of natural light and living spaces, it gets elevated. That's why the townhouses became more or less 3 stories, because the first floor is garage and a very small footprint, and then everything goes above. Again, what I can do, and without asking my clients, is we can actually lower by a couple of feet, 2 or 3 feet if we need to. Because I can lower somehow, not make a little steeper pitch, make it a little shallower, but it probably won't go with the character of a proper townhouse, so to speak. And that's why we're going with something that's more acceptable to the renters or to the buyers, right? That's what we try to do.
One line in your application talks about you're looking for an additional 15 feet to allow to put a garage in the property.
Right.
Most garages I know are not 15 feet tall.
Well, no. So it's not going to be just the garage, like I said, because you have, we have 11 feet to the first floor, and to the second floor, then 10 feet, and then 10 feet, and then the roof peak. So what we are doing is we're going all the way to the roof peak. That's about 39 feet from the base, all the way, from here to here. So it's not just 15 feet for the garage, but it's another feet that we can get for these nicer townhouses. For instead of 8-foot ceiling height, if we can get them 8'6" or 9 foot possibly, is what we were looking for, honestly speaking.
And you're using a peak versus a flat roof, that's where the extra...
That's
footage
correct.
comes in?
Yes, if it didn't have it, then it would have been almost 8-9 feet lower.
Thank you.
Very good point.
Excuse me, I have nothing further. We rest.
And just to follow up on the board's questions, looking at
Should I go back to the plan? Or?
yes, back to the plan. So you mentioned you could make them wider, and you would defer to the engineer who testified earlier. Is there any reason why you couldn't have less buildings there if you wanted to make them wider to conform?
Wider to conform.
Instead of having 4 buildings here, couldn't you just have 3? Spread them out. You wanted to look at garages? No, I'm asking here, what we're here for is we're here on a height variance. One of the items, there's 5 elements for it. One of them is that you can't use it.
Height variance isn't even, variance doesn't have to,
Okay, if we're saying a 60% change of height is de minimis, it's against every case that I've read, but I haven't read anything in the last week, so maybe there's something else. 60% is not de minimis.
Okay, thank you, Judge Jones.
Yes, we have that. So what we have here is whether you can use the property for the criteria in the ordinance. That's it. That's the long and the short of it. Their civil engineer, he was upfront about it. He could do it. But if we take, so if you want to communicate while you're on cross-examination,
calling him.
Could we get a ruling on that?
Listen,
Is he allowed-
listen, he could put one building.
I was calling him just to ask him questions.
The answer is he could put one building, he could put 2 buildings, he could put 3 buildings. He's asking for 4 buildings. You're asking him to change the entire project.
No.
That's not what we're here for. We're not here to change the project. We're here for the 4 buildings.
The question that comes down is he didn't ask for 4 items. He only asked for height.
Right.
I take a look at his
Right,
application.
he asked for height.
He asked for height.
For 4 buildings.
That's right.
4 buildings for height.
And
That's it.
If you if I could put for the purposes of the record, if you can use your land for the literal terms of the ordinance, you do not go to a variance, which a variance says is an extraordinarily high burden.
De minimis for height. De minimis for height. Okay? If you're going to lecture us, we'll lecture back. It's de minimis for height. And you know that. And you know that.
If I can, for the purpose of the record, I would have rather that the board had made any rulings that they have as to what's de minimis or not de minimis. I wish there was
You'll get to argue that later.
not a ruling. I find it prejudicial to my client
Very
that
good.
we have
Thank
a
you.
ruling from the board solicitor in the middle of testimony that I am not allowed to ask. Okay, now we have the engineer talking to the architect. I asked before on cross-examination that a witness not be allowed to talk. So if I can stop now, I don't think.
Sir, were you cross-examining me at that
I'm
point?
cross-examining you, and
Okay.
this gentleman, who's an engineer, just came over and talked to you.
Right.
Under your rules, I'm allowed cross-examination. It isn't that they go back and talk to one another or anything else. So I find it highly prejudicial what's going on in the proceedings, rulings on items that the board hasn't ruled on, and now the witnesses are talking to one another. I'm asking for a ruling that they not talk during the cross-examination to answer my questions. May I get a ruling?
Yes, you can do that.
I'll make it.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me get in. At this point here, if he's crossing, we have Ms. Jones, strictly him.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you to, Mr. Moran, move to the back.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Can I?
Well,
Okay.
Ms. Jones, you finished, or do you want to keep going?
If I can, with regard to this plan, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, I don't show, with regard to these 4 units in the city of Scranton, there's no stream there, at least it's not shown on this plan, is there?
I am not a civil engineer.
Do you see a stream on here?
I am not a civil engineer.
Okay, all righty. So you wouldn't know what a stream looked like on a plan?
Well,
That's
at least
okay.
I don't see it here. If you say that, you know,
Okay.
there is a stream or...
Okay, I don't see one either.
Yeah.
Okay, where these 4 units are at, on this side of this road that they'll be using to come in, I don't see any wetlands on there, do you?
Unless they are supposed to be shown here.
Yeah, so they're,
I see a big cliff here.
no, I asked you, okay.
I don't see a wetland.
Okay, so
Right.
there's no wetland and no stream that we can see on this plan?
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't take the issue that there's a cliff that you see that's 35 or 30 feet back from the end of those 4 units. Is that correct? You have no reason to dispute that engineer, do you?
I have no reason to dispute
Okay.
what he says and what he found.
Okay.
But I see big 20-foot something difference, you said?
20 foot.
I think from front to back.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that is a cliff?
And I see this other project.
Yes, sir.
And I see topo on here. And I also see within the confines of this 20-foot drop. I see more than 20, do you?
That's not in Scranton, right?
I didn't ask you that.
Okay.
But this is on an exhibit that they put in.
Right.
I'm seeing more than 20 feet. Are you?
I can't read that.
Mr. Jones, are we talking about in the area of the 4 houses, or the 4 units, or are we off?
We're off of that.
Well, let's stay on where the 4 units are, strictly the 4 units.
Thank you.
We're wandering.
I have no further
Thank you.
questions for this particular witness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
We rested.
You can sit there.
We're done.
Are you finished?
Yes.
All right. If I can, Mr. Wycliffe. I asked that my first officer this morning.
We're going to take a 5-minute pause right here. We're going to take a 5-minute break.
Sure.
come back to order. Is it?
Yes, I'd like my first witness sworn in. If you would please go to the microphone, give your name and your address for the board, and then be sworn in.
Albert Whitecalis. I do.
Pause for a minute.
A-L-B-E-R-T.
May I have
He's
one?
being sworn in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A-L-B-E-R-T. W-Y-C-A-L-L-I-S.
There's a request from the sound man that if anybody is not going to speak, that their microphone be turned off, okay? So, Mr. Jones, can you turn your microphone off, please?
He's doing the questioning.
It's his witness.
It threw me too, Mr. Welby. I was going to do it, and I thought, no. If I can, sir, what do you do for a living?
I build homes.
Okay. And are you familiar with the Glenmar area?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been a builder?
Approximately 30 years.
Okay. And with regard to building townhouses, have you built townhouses?
Yes.
And have you built townhouses in the Glenmara area?
Yes.
Okay. How many have you built over there?
Over 40-some, 40, 45.
Okay, so you've built 45 townhouses. With regard to the first floor, we're here on height. How tall is the first floor?
9-foot ceilings.
Okay, how tall is the second floor?
8-foot ceilings.
Okay, and then do you put a roof on it?
Yes.
Okay, how high is the roof?
Approximately another 10 feet.
So I'm figuring you're around 28 feet for the townhouses at Glenmar, is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, and that's just counting first floor, second, and the roof.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the pitch of the roof that you have built in Glenmar?
Traditionally, it's about an 8-12 pitch.
Okay, and can you change the pitch of the roof?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, and what can you change it to?
I didn't change it. You could change it to anything. You could change it to a 312, 412, depending
Okay.
on what you want to achieve.
Okay, so if you were at 28 feet, if you changed the pitch of the roof, which you could do, you can still meet all codes and you'd be at under 25 feet, is that right?
You could adjust it, yeah.
Okay, and the townhouses that you built, they're in the borough of Moosic, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and they're all under 30 feet, those
Yes.
townhouses. And you heard testimony that there's going to be a one-car garage on these particular units. Were you here for that testimony?
Yeah, I heard them talk about it, yeah.
Okay, and approximately how wide is, I take it a garage door is 8 feet, so you put a foot or so on each side of the door, is that right? Be around 10 feet?
Garage doors are usually 9x7s, 10x8s. For a one-car garage, I would put a 10x8 in, 10-foot wide, 8-foot high.
Okay, and if you were to build a townhouse and put a door next to that garage door, how wide would that?
The man door would be about 3 feet wide. I'd make a 36-inch door.
Okay, so I'm at roughly 14 feet. Now, you were here for the testimony that has the front of the structure being approximately 22 feet wide. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if I have a garage that's, say, 10 or 11 feet wide, and I have the front door, okay, so I still have 23, well, scratch that. I have a depth of 45 feet for the structure. You were here for that, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if I have a first floor, ground floor, and I have a, similar to Glenmara, I have my garage, I have a front door, and I go back, there's approximately, their architect says, 5 to 600 square feet of living area on that first floor. Do you have any reason to dispute that?
No.
No, and you could build that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now if I go to the second floor, the gentleman said he's got approximately 1,000 square feet on his second floor. Could you build that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And in fact, you have built units that have 1,600 square feet in Glenmara, so you could put living area in 1,000 square feet, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put bedrooms, you've put bedrooms in other living area, whether it's kitchen, bath, or anything else. And then, it's your testimony, you then put a roof on this structure.
Yes.
And it's approximately 10 feet, but you can make it less, substantially less. Sounds like you take 5 feet off.
Yeah, you can make it
and
different,
still
but
meet
just-
code,
Right.
right? And when have you built these units over what period of time? In the last 10 years, would you say? 5 years?
These recent townhouses?
Yes.
Yeah, probably in the last 10 years.
Okay. And when's the last one you worked on?
Just this year.
Okay, so you actually have built a structure that can conform to a 25-foot height for a townhouse in Glenmara.
28 foot. That's
28.
Yeah, 28 foot.
But you could vary that roof.
I could adjust that, yeah.
And you heard their architect said he could vary that roof too.
Right.
Yeah, he just thinks he can market it better if it's higher. But I don't know where he has his expertise, but you as a builder, you could you can and have built this same structure in Glenmara, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, now we talked about topography. All righty, now they testified they're going 45 feet back, no matter what the height of their particular structure is. Now, the topo, would it be fair to categorize Glenmara as that's the Montage Mountain area?
What do you mean?
Is it a mountainous area?
Yeah, it's a mountainous area.
Okay, where you built these townhouses, do they have similar topography where you have a change in grade of, say, 20 feet?
Yeah, there's all different topographies of the...
That's right, but your experience is you've seen that on these townhouses, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. So there's nothing unique in the Glenmara area with regard to building on this particular mountain, is that correct?
No.
No, especially for townhouses. Thank you. I have no further questions for this particular witness.
Sir. I have a question. Are you the sole contractor for townhouses back there?
No.
So are there other townhouses that were built by other contractors?
I work for the company, yes.
Okay. Do you know if there's other townhouses that have gone up higher than the 30 feet or 35 feet?
Not to my knowledge, no.
All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
And thank you, Mr. Chair, because that leads into my question. I was under the impression from your testimony that all of the townhouses in Glenmara are 28 feet or so, two-story.
Right.
But I've witnessed townhouses that are three-story at Glenmara. So would it
Right.
surprise you if I told you
not when
that
I
they were
was there.
three-story?
I didn't work on three.
Not that when you were there, but in regards to what is existing today at Glenmara.
Right.
Would it surprise you if there were three-story buildings?
Are you talking about a walkout basement, or I don't know what you're talking about?
Out of the ground, 3 stories out of the ground.
That has to be with a walkout basement because it's just the first floor, second floor, then the roof. You have to be, I never saw one with 3 stories, unless you're counting the basement.
Cross-examination, he could ask, you laid the foundation of stories, he can cross-examine us as stories. No, he's asking if there are other places in Glenmara. He's not testifying. That's the question.
No, I know that. My objection is to, he said he saw.
I like to see that one. I never saw that. Yeah.
This is on Facebook. And it says, 'It 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 says, '
Wait, she's not, yeah. She's not a witness.
Senior living?
If she's going to give any kind of statement, she needs to be sworn in.
No, strike that. Strike what she spoke. Not yet, he's cross-examining now.
You have to have a sworn first. So I'm showing.
It's on Facebook, and it's noted Glenmore Commons Townhouse for sale in Moosic, and it's a 3-story townhouse.
Thank you.
I want to see it, yeah. Yeah, that's our finished basement, so it's a walkout basement.
But that's more than 28 feet.
The back of it, yeah.
That's more than 28 feet, correct?
Oh, yes.
If he knows, if he knows, he could answer.
Do you know, looking at that picture, you've testified as an expert, as a builder.
That's not a 3-story building, though. That's a walkout basement.
Height. How high is that structure?
I have no idea.
If he knows. If he knows, you can,
Can you answer?
Yeah, it's not a 3-story building. It's a basement. That's a walkout. Some of ours have walkouts, some of ours don't. That is one that you have a picture of a walkout. It looks like a 3-story building, but it's not. In the front, that's how I see it anyways.
I believe you.
Yeah.
We're only asking in regards to the height of that building. How high, in your expert opinion, by looking at that picture, is the
In the
height
back,
of that
it's higher than
building?
the front, obviously, because it's a walkout. It's going to be 9 foot higher. If the front's 28, you're going to add 9 to it.
So it's higher than 28 feet.
In the back, sure.
Okay. I have nothing further.
I think you answered it, but just for clarity of the board. So with regard to the picture that was exhibited, to the extent of your knowledge, it looks like it's the rear of a unit, am I correct?
Yeah, it's the rear of one of our walkouts.
All right, but with regard to that particular unit, if you wanted to, they're using cuts and fills on theirs. Could you cut and fill and still have a 9-foot on the first floor shown in that picture, and an 8 or 9-foot on the second floor, and still have your 10-foot roof?
Cut and fill what? What are you talking, cut and fill?
If I didn't want to have a walkout basement, could you build that on slab?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So with regard to that particular unit, which we don't know where it is, and I appreciate the nature of cross-examination. If I go to the front of that unit, and they show us all the renderings of the front of their unit, where, let's assume it's a 1-car garage that's there. I go into that 1-car garage, right? I'm going to walk into presumably a 9-foot first floor, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then on the second floor, I'm going to walk into an 8-foot, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, and then I'm going to have that roof on top, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, and if somebody didn't want to have a basement, you don't have to have a basement, does it?
No.
Just if you know, if you don't know the answer, does the city of Scranton require you to put a basement in a townhouse?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't either, so that, thanks.
I have nothing further.
Thanks, guys.
Al, he's here. Yes. Okay.
I do. First name is Benjamin, B-E-N-J-A-M-I-N.
Can we speak at the microphone, please? Thank you.
It's on. First name is Benjamin, B-E-N-J-A-M-I-N. Last name is Accardi, A-C-C-A-R-D-I.
If we can, sir, could you please give your address for the record?
My address is 101 O'Connor Drive, Music, PA, 18507.
Is that in Glenmar?
Yes, that's in Glenmar.
What do you do for
For the last 15 years, working as a construction manager. Before that, I was a contractor building homes, residential homes in Glenmar.
At any time, did you a licensed inspector or a certified inspector in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
Yes, I was. For approximately 2 years, I was a licensed home inspector with NACHI, National Association of Certified Home Inspectors.
All righty. And are you familiar with, well, you were here for the testimony of the last witness, is that correct?
I was.
All righty. Now, with regard to have you seen a townhouse in Glenmar that has a one-car garage at ground level?
Yes.
Okay. And are you familiar with townhouses that have a one car on the first level?
I am.
How are you familiar? You ever walk in one?
Yes, as a matter of fact, my son owns one.
Oh, okay. All righty. So it'd be fair to say that we heard the testimony that if we had a 22-foot wide residential townhouse unit. So they're 22 feet wide, they're 45 feet deep. That was the testimony from the expert witnesses of the applicant. So if I put in a garage roughly around 11 feet or thereabouts in the front of it, and I'm subtracting out of that 22 feet, then I take another 3 feet, right? That leaves me with what, about 6.6 or 7 feet of living area after the door to the end of the unit?
Yes, approximately.
Okay, and if I go back, how deep is a garage normally?
Roughly around 20 feet.
Okay, so if I go back 20 feet, their architect has testified that there'd be about 500 to 600 square feet of living area.
I agree.
Okay. Now, there's also been testimony by the builder in Glenmar that they have units that have 9-foot ceilings on the first floor. Have you been in to strike that? He's also testified that on the next floor up, that he's built an 8-foot or 9-foot ceiling. Could you also build a townhouse that has either an 8 or a 9-foot square, an 8 or 9-foot high ceiling on a first and second floor?
Yes.
Okay, so if the architect's math is correct, so we're going to have between 500 and 600 square feet on the first floor that's ground level according to their plan. If I get to the second floor, they've testified that there's 1,000 square feet on that second floor. They're using the math, I presume, of roughly 22 by 45, and I come at 977. They got a heck of a lot more square foot than I'm coming out with, but that could come out with maybe, they're a little bit wider, 135. So can you build a townhouse that's 2 stories that has either an 8 or 9 foot on the first floor, an 8 or 9 foot on the second floor, and has a roof with a pitch that is less than 8 by 12?
Less than an 812, yes.
Yeah, what could you build them to? Still meet code?
You could go down to a 312 pitch.
Okay, so I'd be under 25 square feet, is that correct?
With that pitch roof, yes.
Okay. I have no further questions for this particular witness. You go right ahead, sir.
Oh, we're going to share. Here you go.
Mr. Chairman, I'm in a precarious situation. I represent Ben Accardi's family, so I don't have any questions for him. I can't cross-examine him.
What family do you represent for mine?
But I don't do your closings, Ben?
Oh, it's been a long day.
Thank
It's been
you.
a long
Appreciate
day.
it.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I have no questions of Mr. Accardi.
You lucked out.
Yeah, that was easy, right? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you.
Thanks.
Angela.
I'm excused here. Thanks.
Do you want to go now? Okay. I'd like to call my next witness if you'd like to go up and get sworn.
I do. James Palumbo, James Palumbo.
And what is your address, sir? What, do you own property in Glenmora?
I own property in Glenmora.
Okay, and what's the address of that?
15 Steinbeck Drive.
Okay, and sir, do you have any licenses by the state of Pennsylvania?
I'm a professional engineer.
And how long have you been a professional engineer?
Over 40 years.
Okay, and are you familiar with the Glenmora area?
Yes, I am.
Okay, would it be fair to say that, well, strike that, you were with Quad 3, is that correct?
I was a principal at Quad 3, that's correct.
Okay, and it'd be fair to say that Quad 3 was the engineering, the primary engineering outfit for the Glenmora projects that include the shops at Montage, Cinemark, the office buildings, DLP, and we refer to it as the professional center. That would be Frank Hoban's property, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you've also been the engineering firm for the townhouse developments for Glenmora. I'd say that's probably phases 1 through, or Quad 3 was the engineering outfit for the townhouses in Glenmora. I believe it's phase 1 through 3.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, you've heard the testimony of the two contractors that build for Glenmora and build in general. From an engineering perspective, can you build, are you familiar with the townhouses that actually got built in Glenmora?
I am.
Okay, and they're approximately, some of them are 1,600 square feet, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and would it be fair to say that the first floors are, that are grade level, living area, that they have between an 8 and 9 foot ceiling?
Again, I am not that familiar with the interiors, but that's what I've heard on testimony.
Okay, that'd be fair enough. You've heard their testimony that they've built between a first floor 8 and 9 feet. They've built the second floor 8 and 9 feet, and they've built the roof, I'll say, to approximately 10 feet.
I have.
Okay, and from an engineering perspective, and you've heard the other engineers and architects that are here, they testified that you could build such a structure, that, and my math says that's 28 feet, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, and you've heard the testimony that, in fact, at least from grade level, they're actually being built over there in Glenmora, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, now, with regard to the pitch on the roof, I believe the testimony is they're 8 by 12. Can you make that pitch less than 8 by 12 and still hit under their ordinance 25 feet for a structure?
Yes. Be done in various ways.
Now, with regard to the picture that was exhibited here, and I believe Attorney Toronto had it, yeah, well, we all got a bunch of pictures there. Would it be fair to say what he showed was the rear of the structure?
Yes,
Okay, and that had a walkout basement?
that's correct.
Okay, and there's no reason why they have to have a walkout basement, is there?
What it is, you know, we're talking about that. Glenmora is, it's, you know, it's a mountain. So you've got a lot of topography, and you've got to work with it. You're cutting and filling. In this case, what you had was a big cliff out the back. What you did was put the level entrance at the level of where you had your road, and then that out the back there, where the cliff dropped off, what you did is you made that a basement, and you had a walkout basement, and that's the way it did. And that picture was from the rear, and it looked like it was three stories.
And if you wanted to, you could not have a walkout basement, you could pour on slab.
Well, in that case, you would have had to pour yourself or put a lot of fill in there. Yeah, it's.
I'm going to show you what's been represented to be the front of the structure that Mr. Toronto testified to. Is that just showing 2 stories from ground level? My apologies before you answer.
Yeah.
I believe there's a stipulation that here is the front of the structure itself. It's showing one side along, you walk in and you have an 8 or 9 foot ceiling, and then you get to your second floor, you have an 8 or 9 foot ceiling, and then you get to the next one, you have your deep roof, which just goes past that, 10 feet. Sorry. Hey, I can pull it back up.
Mr. Jones, if I can ask you a question about that.
Yes.
So in the front, the height would be, we'll say below the... In the front, the height would probably meet the standard, but with a walk-off basement and the drop down the back, what would the height be in the back, the additional 8 foot?
I don't know. I'm going to guess that you may.
So my point is it taken over, is that drop in the back taking over the required height?
I think, no, I don't believe so, but that's under Music Borough, so I don't know how they interpret their ordinance.
Well, then why are we talking about it here in Scranton then?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. When I take a look at the rear of these structures,
Yep.
right? The rear of these structures.
I object. Is he testifying or is he asking questions?
No, I'm not asking. And I
won't ask your question.
Well, I did. I said if he takes a look at the rear of these structures, would you please take a look at the rear of the structures?
Jim, he's asking you to take a look.
Okay. The rear of the 4 structures.
The rear of the 4 structures. Yep. Okay. And you'll see topography go up or down to the rear of those structures.
What I saw goes up.
Okay, so it actually goes up. So with regard to the picture that Mr. Toronto had exhibited, that we, whether it was cut and filled or whether it was natural grade, that topo now is showing that in the rear it's going down. Is that correct? That's why you get a walkout basement in the back and your ground level in the front.
Say that again, please.
Okay, so with regard to this particular piece of property.
Yeah, let's say this piece. I'm not worried about that picture of music anymore.
Good, that's fine. So we have, so on the rear of this, the property is going up.
Right.
So that if it's going up,
But aren't they, I'm going to answer this before we're going any further. Didn't they testify that they're digging into that property and the back of that house to sit into the grade? So part of that basement or that behind the garage is going to be below ground level?
no, they're not going to have it. Their testimony is they're not having a basement.
Well, the back area behind the garage, I'm sorry, I said basement. So the area behind that garage is actually going to be below ground because they're going to dig in place, or whatever term you were using before. So what I'm saying is, and I question that, I asked that question, if the front is going to be 40 feet, with them digging into the back of that elevated ground in the back that goes up 20 feet, and they're digging in and placing the house, the structure of the house in it, and their testimony was it was going to be below the 40, because the ground is going to come up, and the part that's shown in the back house is measured from where it hits the ground up.
For the life of me, I think if you dig a hole and you have a foundation, you're going to be More than 40.
No, you're going into the ground. The ground is elevated, you're digging into it. So the,
I got that, and let's assume you go back, and we know that that high wall is 30 feet back. So if I'm going behind that particular structure, say I'm going, I don't know if there's whatever X number of feet, that's going to be in the back, it's still exposed. So if I take a tape measure.
I don't agree with you.
If I go to
I'm not trying, I don't want to testify here, and I feel like I'm starting to do it, but I do have a question on it.
But I surmise I go to the back of that structure, I take a tape measure from wherever they cut back and wherever they're doing it, because there's a space between wherever they cut back and that. I go from the bottom, I go to the top. It's actually more than 40.
Well, I'll look at, I'm going to go one more step here.
The testimony of the architect was the rear would be 30 feet.
Yeah, that's what my notes show too.
And I'm going to say this before I go any farther, then we'll move on. I have a neighbor that has an above-ground pool. That part of it's dug in because their land slopes. So one section of the pool only sticks out maybe 1.5 feet, and the other section is 4 feet. And I liken that that's what this building's going to be, the same thing. When they dig it in, one section is going to be below grade. I'm sure there's going to be some of it above grade, but the front is going to be full grade. It's going to be the full 8 foot to the first floor, the 9 foot, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not in the record. I don't even.
I don't know. I mean, we're testifying, and not this gentleman, even the one before it, about the grade, but I want a clarity for my mind before I vote on this, on what it's going to be. And I think I'm right in saying, Mr. Palumbo, you're an engineer. I don't know if you agree with me or don't agree with me, but if they're digging in, the back of that structure that's only going to show above the grade of the land itself will be less than what the front is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, can we get back to the 40 feet from the front up? All of this diversion, the back, the front, the grade, the topology, let's just talk about the 40 feet from the front up, you know.
I don't want any more testimony from Music at all. It has nothing to do with this, and that comes from Mr. Jones, you in the beginning, strictly in Scranton.
Thank you.
I agree with that. So what we have in the front, everybody agrees that they're at 40 feet.
That's correct.
Okay, and with regard to the back, if I dig back, say, 10 feet or better, I don't know how far I'm going to go back, because they're showing that they got a porch there, whether it's on the second or the first floor. They have a porch that comes out.
That's what they're showing.
If they go back, say, 20 feet on any cut and fill, if I walk around the back and I look at the footer and it shows, say I dug from the top of there down, it's going to actually exceed 40 feet. If I show an exposed foundation in the back, similar to Mr. Toronto's picture.
The testimony from the architect was in the rear it would be 30 feet high. That was his testimony.
Yeah.
You can re-testimony yourself, but that's your testimony. Their testimony was it was 30 feet in the rear.
And my question to you is, you're an engineer. If say I'm digging out an area, if I'm going to put in a foundation, do I dig right to where I'm going to put that footer, or do I have to go back further? If I'm going to lay block, do I have any area, any airspace on the outside of that building?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
The rear of the building?
Yeah.
I'm building a structure, right? And I want to cut and fill right going back. If this is my foundation, right at this line, don't I have to go back further so my workmen can get in there and work? The outside of the building, the outside of the foundation.
I'll have to go back. That would depend on you have to talk to the construction guys, because if it's block, that's one thing. If it was poured concrete, it'd be something else, and the space would be different.
I have a question. With all we're talking about, with the 40 feet, that is from the lowest part of the elevation to the peak of the building. However far it's set back, dug out, doesn't mean a darn thing. We're purely looking at from the tallest point, from any elevation to the gable of the roof. 40 feet, correct?
You can ask the gentleman a question.
That's the only question I have is to, however far it's dug in, really doesn't give a damn. All we're looking for is the maximum height from grade to the gable. That's all we're looking at here.
And just to reaffirm, their architect, their engineer, and you have no reason to dispute that. To Mr. Welby's point, it's 40 feet. That's correct?
That's correct.
Now, I'm going to show you a series of designs for townhouses. I'd have that worked as subjectors. Right there.
Mr. Chair, whatever it is going to put on, we would stipulate that they be built. In order to expedite this tonight, whatever he's going to say with regards to these plans. We don't want to build any of these, we want to build that, but we'll acknowledge that this is going to be done.
I don't know what the testimony is yet, but again, unless it's regarding these 4 units here, I mean, we got to move on.
Sure. No, I got that.
Mr. Chairman, I think it would be these 4 units and the 40-foot height from that, as Mr. Welby said, and that's it. Nothing new. That would be Planning Commission. We've got drawings. We've got an application. They're asking for 15 feet. I think that's what we need to hear, and then we need to vote. Otherwise, we're going to be here till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, I will take the stipulation that with regard to our exhibit number 1, that these designs can be put on this particular area with 6 units.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think we're talking about redesign. We're talking about a height variance request for the design that we have in front of us with the plans that were presented. And this is nice paper, but I wouldn't consider it, and I don't think we should hear the testimony. But that's my 2 cents. Mr. Penetar, I'm not sure.
I think Mr. Matalovich is right. You can redesign anything you want, but we're not here on redesign or what somebody else built here and somebody else built there. We're here on these 4 units, the 40-foot height. That's what we're here for. Nobody's disputing that you could build it a different way.
I can go to Home Depot and get some hammers and nails, some concrete, some lumber, some shingles, and I could build a tiny house that's on channel 54 in Xfinity. We got 4 here. We're talking about a 40-foot height. That's what we got to focus on. I'm not the chair, but I want to do it right.
If we can, I can clear it up. With regard to the stipulation that we have a record that you can build these particular units on the footprints for these 4 units, you have no reason to dispute that particular stipulation that's been made by council.
I do not.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No further questions for the witness.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I just have one question.
Can we,
Use your mic.
thank you.
I believe your testimony was that a normal 2-story unit would be 28 feet in height.
I'm sorry?
The unit, the normal 2-story size would be 28 feet in height. Is that correct?
I think,
He said it was 28 feet, and he could sandwich down the roof to make it 25. So
No, his testimony was to contractors that that's what's actually built over in
well, he affirmed that, so he testified to that. Yeah, correct. So the ordinance of this city mandates a 25-foot height max. We're at 28. We still would need a variance in order to establish a 2-story building on this site.
I'm going to object. These particular structures are built
Does anybody?
He changes the story.
Testimony is he can lower the roof and still meet your 25 feet. And if it isn't, as I can, redirect, can you lower the pitch of the roof and make it 25 feet?
Yes.
What would it look like? Would it be flattened? Like, how flat would it be? Like, what would it change the characteristics?
My testimony is we can lower the roof by changing the pitch.
But what would that do to the style of it?
I am an engineer, not an architect.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Palumbo.
Thank you.
I would ask that Thomas Shepstone
And I can remind you, council, we're in Scranton only.
I do.
I need it.
Thomas J. Shepstone, Shepstone.
Thank you.
Mr. Shepstone, what is your business address?
I'm a planning consultant. We do work for both private entities and municipalities. We've represented dozens and dozens of municipalities in both Pennsylvania and New York, as well as a few other states, in writing zoning regulations and enforcing them.
And how long have you been doing that?
Since 1973.
And have you appeared in front of this board and been allowed to, as an expert in planning?
Yes, more than once.
Okay. I would ask that the gentleman be acknowledged and admitted as an expert in the planning and zoning field. If it can, have you taken a look at this particular project?
Yes.
All right. And do you have any information that would be helpful to the board with regard to whether the ordinance can be adhered to and structures can be built with regard to the height variance?
Yes, I actually prepared a letter to you which outlines my position on it, and I would point out that with regard to the height issue, which is what we're talking about tonight, the defense of the need for the variance is based on basically slope and cost of construction and the desire of the developer to increase density and do so by going higher rather than wider. I would point out that that depends upon, a variance depends upon, giving the least modification possible, which means that you have to do what is necessary to allow somebody to use a piece of land, period. You're not there to increase density. You're not there to increase profits. You're not there to add to the benefits of the project. You're there to allow a landowner to make use of their property. And I would point you to, in our letter, I pointed out, I gave some illustrations. If you go on Google Earth, you'll see a whole bunch of townhouses that are built in Glenmora, and I included a picture of them. They're all two-story units. They're still being built today, as we heard earlier, and there's obviously a market for those. So the other thing that's important is that when you look at slope, that area that's where the four buildings are located is a combination of Marden and another name I can't even pronounce, but it's DY soils. So we have MHD. The D stands for 0 to 25% slopes. And then we have DYE. The E stands for 25 to 70% slopes. And when you look at the layout of the four units, you see that 3 of those units are clearly in the MHD, the 0 to 25%. And the one project would be the second one from the left as you're looking at their sketch, that extends into the 25 to 70%, or the DYE soil. There's only one of those, and that one is only partially within that soil type. And then when you go back to the map that I included of the townhouses in Glenmora and look at where they're located, you can go on Google Earth and you can see the soil types for all these areas. They're all right there, and if you have the app loaded properly. And when you look at that, there's a whole bunch of units that are designed and placed and built and sold on both not only D slopes, but E slopes, and specifically DYE slopes. So even the one building that is located partly within a very steep slope, even that building, based on the success of the Glenmora projects, would be probably buildable by cuts and fills and so on and so forth. So when you're working in an area like Glenmora, you're obviously moving soil around, you're adapting to the landscape of the property. And we have the perfect example in Glenmora of literally dozens and dozens and dozens of townhouses built on soils or slopes, just like we see in this particular case. So that tells me there's absolutely no need for a variance. It can be done. Could it be done more profitably with 3-story units? Of course it could, because you're going to go higher rather than lower. You'll be able to squeeze more property or more units on the property. But that's not the point of zoning. The point of zoning is to maintain neighborhood character, and the entire character of Glenmora, forget all the little trifling arguments about walkouts and all that. The entire character of Glenmora is 2-story townhouses in terms of townhouse development, 2 stories. And now they're asking for an opportunity to do 3 stories and change the character of that particular area. And there's no cause for it. There's no justification, none whatsoever. It's being done at 2 stories, and it's being done very successfully right up to today. So there's just simply no case, in my opinion, for this. And I would point out, just as a little technical matter, there's been a lot of discussion about this being in the rec district, and I would point out it's partially in the conservation district, too. That raises some other issues. I don't think you want to hear about them, but so I'm not going to bore you with them. They're in my letter if Mr. Jones wants to enter it. But yeah, I do. I can give it to them. Yeah. Make sure I have the right one here. Oh, here it is. Yes. You can have all those. I don't have one here.
Excuse me, Mr. Jones, can you pause for a minute while we...
Oh, yes.
I don't really have any more to add other than the fact that, to go back to the point, which is the point of a variance is to allow economic use of the land. It's not to increase profitability. It's not to increase density. It's not to even reduce footprints. And I would note that, there's been talk about, well, we want to do it to save more trees and things of that nature. But the fact of the matter is that's not going to be significant in the big picture. What's significant is that the purpose of this appears to be the increase of density and the additional profitability. And I don't think those are legitimate purposes for a variance. And I would encourage you to look at your own ordinance in that regard. And I think all of you have been at this a while. You know the law. You know the rules. So that's all I have to say.
Bobby. If I can, calling your attention to the first page of your letter, it says that the 15 feet that they're asking for is a 60% increase in the building height. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you believe that isn't warranted. Is that your testimony?
I believe it's not warranted.
Okay.
And it's not de minimis, I have to say, either. It's, in my opinion. I've used that argument myself when representing clients, but it's when you're talking about a 5% difference or a 10% difference, not a 60% difference. And while I was listening to some of the testimony, we looked it up in the dictionary online, and de minimis means so minor as to merit disregard, lacking significance or importance, and the law does not concern itself with trifling matters. So that's my view of de minimis. Take it for what it's worth.
And with regard to the particular district, you had an opportunity to look at the plan and where the properties are located just
Yes.
within the city of Scranton and the zone for the conservation and the additional zone, the planning zone. What percentage do you think is in each?
50-50.
So they're even.
We actually, we combined the maps and to make sure we had it measured accurately, and we used two different applications to identify the acreage in each district, and both of them come out 50-50.
Okay, and with regard to the reason why we're here tonight, we're here on a height variance, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. There is no request for a variance for any of the criteria in the conservation area, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and with regard to the fact that the conservation area doesn't allow for townhouses, the application has not made any request with regard to a variance for a use in that particular area.
That's how I see it.
Thanks. I have no further questions for the witness. You go. That was Sharon.
Mr. Shepstone, just one question.
Sure.
In regards, do you know, in regards to the Glenmora construction, when the soil was being entered, was it from the high point or the low point?
When they slowed,
when they were starting their digging, was it the high point or the low point of the slope is where the construction began at Glenmora? To your knowledge, I don't know if you even know that.
I'm not a construction expert in that regard, so I can't really answer that.
And you review the ordinance of the city, I imagine?
Yes,
based
of
upon your
course.
testimony. And you would acknowledge that under the conservation zone, the height maximum is 40 feet, not 25 feet?
Yes, that's correct.
So we would be in compliance with respect to the height of in the conservation zone. And I understand from your testimony that it is not a permitted use for townhouses, but we would meet the height requirement.
That is correct. You stated it correctly.
I have no further questions.
Thank you very much.
I would just ask that the board, if not, I would like to put it the record that you take administrative notice of your own ordinance that townhouses are not allowed in the conservation area.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. King, is any of this in the Conservation District?
Portions of it are.
Okay.
I believe when Mr. McLean first contacted me, I measured this in our GIS system, and greater than 50% was in the planned recreational zone, and not the conservation zone.
But you have no, I just asked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have no reason to dispute that when the actual plans were looked at, not going to a computer model, that it's not in your ordinance, that Mr. Shepstone has it 50-50. You have no reason to dispute that, do you?
I do dispute that. I can't believe that it's exactly 50-50. And we're on a 25-acre parcel that's split by a zoning. I can't believe that it's exactly 50-50. In my review of the ordinance, I believe that the preponderance was in the planned recreation zone.
And you're basing that not on anything in the ordinance or a measurement in the ordinance, but on something we don't have in front of us tonight?
Correct.
A computer program. Thank you, as always. Thank you for your frank testimony. Thank you, Mr. King.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to acknowledge for the record, it was based upon the direction of the zoning officer that we filed our application accordingly, that he told us to provide that this was in a planned recreation zone.
Thank you. So noted.
I have no further witnesses. I just ask that the exhibits be entered into the record as evidence. We've concluded the presentation of our testimony this evening. I would like to point out for the board, with regard to Mr. Shepstone's report, and as this board is aware, there are 5 criteria for an ordinance. A zoning board's function are that we have the ordinance, and if you can build according to the ordinance, you don't get a variance. A variance by law is an extraordinarily high standard to meet. It means that you cannot use this particular property. Mr. McLean was very forthright, as he always is. He says you can build these structures within that particular height that you have. Their architect, while somewhat passionate in his delivery, recognizes that you can do that. They believe that they can get a better economic return if they have it a 3-foot. I mean, if they have a 3-story. There's no ifs, ands, or buts that this is a 3-story building. You take a look at what they have. Their testimony is you go in on that first floor, you have your garage. He's going to have 600 square feet of living area in that particular space. You're going to have an 8 or 9 foot ceiling in that area. Then you go to your second floor. You have 8 or 9 feet of height. You go to your third floor. This is a 3-story, and then you're adding another 10 feet. Not that you can't build according to your ordinance, because they want 3 stories, because he even said it hits their marketing. It hits their marketing. You could, and the testimony's undisputed. That's what they're telling you to the board member's position. We're at 40 feet. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So how do you go 60% beyond a brand-new ordinance? This is the SAPA ordinance that was adopted by the city of Scranton in 2023. This is a legislative act. It went through with help from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It went with an outside planning agency, with Mr. King, your planner, having a large role with it. This was identified by the city of Scranton as having in this area 25 feet. You have, and you're cognizant of other areas of your borough where they go from, some of them are 30, some are 35 feet, some are 40. I've seen some as high as 45 feet in some of your other particular areas. But each district has, as late as 2023, that this area says when we look at ground level to the top, to your point, do we have 25 feet? And if we exceed that, how do we hit the extraordinary burden? This is not a conditional use. This is not a special exception, which you all hear, which means it's a permitted use. This is acknowledged not to be permitted. And as the Commonwealth Court has said in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, this is what the town has adopted. The council signed it, the mayor signed it, it became law. In order to hit that 5 criteria, we have to say there is something that you cannot build. It comes down to that. You cannot build on this site. You can't use it for any of the uses that are in that particular zone, whether it's conservation or in a planning district. And their own testimony is, yes, we can actually build that. We don't want to build that, but we want to have the 3rd story on there. And with regard to de minimis, we've had the testimony here. It wouldn't surprise me. I've been doing this for 40-some years. I've come in with probably 2 or 3 feet, if not here, somewhere else. I have never come out with 60% higher. I have never said we're at 25 feet and now we're going to go to 15. That's extraordinary. And what's the justification? What's the justification that we have? We want a higher economic return. Not that we can't build. We've had 2 contractors. We've had their engineer, our engineer, say you can actually build according to the ordinance. And we have the testimony. We have this. We all live here. We can go by and we can see in Glenmar, you have 1,600 square feet. Their fella says, I can have 600 square feet on that first floor. I can have 1,000 on the next floor. That's what Glenmara has. The other guy said he built 40 of them already, and they're selling them. So they just want it because it's higher, not because there's anything wrong with this particular land. We have the testimony. There's nothing unique to Montage Mountain. We have the same townhouses. Did I say, is the topo the same? Yeah, it's approximately the same for the existing units that are there. And they could build those to between 26 and 28. Nobody has the audacity to come in and say, we want a 3rd floor on it, and we want it for marketing purposes. And I asked them, I said, is there wetlands? You could all take a look at the map and I can get up. There's no wetlands that are on this particular building site in the city of Scranton. Asked them, and it's shown there. There's no streams. So what's unique? We know it's not the slope because we've already had, everybody agrees that's a slope and we have it there. So what's doing it? The only thing they said is all their experts agree we can build it, but we just think we want another floor. Yeah, what if they came in here and they wanted 5? Since there's no justification, it has nothing to do with the land, what would you say? Well, yeah, they said they could make more money if they had. I bet you they could. What if they came in with another floor? Like, that isn't it. The board says, here is the ordinance. It's within 3 years. It can't be that, hey, things have changed. The neighborhood changed. Something changed. I've seen the cases, not this board, but other boards, on Kaiser Avenue before they amended the ordinance. Yeah, the neighborhood changed. No, we don't have that. We have a neighborhood that has 4 townhouses. This is a gem in our area. We all know we have the commercial in one area, we have the residential in another area. Now we're saying And the town father said that we want to protect that, and we want it to have 25 feet. So now somebody's coming in and saying to you, and you know, you all take the oath, okay, and you all read the ordinance. And it says, right, can you use the land according to the ordinance? You may not like it, maybe you don't like me, who knows? But that isn't it. You have to say, here is the ordinance, it tracks the MPC. Can they build without an extraordinary 60% increase? And my justification is, it's aesthetically nicer. It could be. I may want my front porch to go right to a foot off the neighbor's line. It's more aesthetically pleasing to me. That's not what we all signed up for. I know you know the law, and that is the law. So if they can build it according to that, whether they build fewer, whether they build them smaller, can you use the land? My client has the largest investment, or if not the largest, second largest, hundreds of millions of dollars that Hemingway Development has put in. You know, he reads the same ordinances, so yeah, okay, we have it. Everybody reads the ordinance. So we're saying to a developer, okay, you spent hundreds of millions of dollars, but there's a new Tasty Freeze coming in town. Okay, so your property rights aren't, because we subjectively want them to have something aesthetically pleasing.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
You got it.
I'm stopping you. You got 30 seconds.
On the floor.
You're done. We're done listening to you.
Don't tempt them.
There's three guys sleeping in the audience back there.
Mr. Chair, he wore me out. I'll be honest with you. I'm sure he wore everybody out here tonight.
It's always a pleasure.
You know, I always like when I'm on Bill's side, not when I'm on the opposite side. But with all due respect, I will not make a 25-minute closing argument. I believe as though we've satisfied the merits. We did not bring up de minimis. Your solicitor brought up de minimis. So it should not be construed as though we are claiming it's de minimis. So I would just leave it at that and would ask that you find in favor of our application this evening. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. See how easy that was, Bill? You're going home rich, buddy. We got to ask, is there anyone else here to give testimony in this case? Hey. Don't everybody run up. All right, we're good. Ready?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
What's the motion? Read it? The ordinance? Hang on a second. You pointed it out to me.
If you look into the recreational thing, it's only 25 feet. You go to R9 where they're in.
And I'm going to put this on the record because pointed it out to us. Microphone.
It's late. Article 2 on page 11 of our book here. Under dwelling townhouse, a group of rental units generally under single ownership, but a condominium is not precluded, where there shall be no more than 8 dwelling units contained within each structure containing garden apartment units are generally less than 4 stories in height, although in the municipality they shall not exceed 2.5 stories or 35 feet. So we have a little, talk to Mr. Penetar, is a little bit discretion.
Yeah, I'm torn. One place it says 25, one place it says 35.
And if we go
And I
to-
just want to point that out.
Yes, and I'm here on one that has an application.
Yeah, I know.
We're just getting it out, you know, in case somebody goes to
We're just
appeal or
putting that on
anything.
record. That's all.
So, I just wanted to read that into the record, that it's there.
Can you review that, Mr. Gattens?
Page
So I clearly
11.
understand.
Okay.
Page 11 of your ordinance.
I'm going to read it again. I'll read it slower. A group of rental units, generally under single ownership, but a condominium is not precluded, where there shall not be more than 8 dwelling units contained within each structure. Such structures containing garden apartment units are generally less than 4 stories in height, although in the municipality, they shall not exceed the height of 2.5 stories or 35 feet. So the question is, Mr. Penetar, what are we looking at here?
Yeah.
I didn't ask
The
you.
application was for 25 feet.
Ask our solicitor.
Yeah, the application was for 25 feet, so I think we have to do that.
Go with the application
And
on, yep.
on appeal, we're going to be arguing
We just want to get
25
that
or
into the
35.
record.
I appreciate it, there's no testimony that these are gonna be under single ownership. The entrances, they're selling, so it wouldn't even fit that little business.
No, each townhouse is single owner.
Why they asked for the 25.
We're going to have to go back and check in our book and see if we can get more clarification when you come back again. All right, we're set. Motion?
We're going to vote on the application as applied.
As applied.
I make a motion.
I second the motion.
On the motion, Mr. Welby,
No.
Mr. McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, I don't feel the onus that was put in to justify a variance was met. I agree that these are new ordinances, and it was put in effect for 25, and at this point, I'm going to be voting no. I don't think it was met to grant the variance, so I'll vote no. By a vote of 3-2, declined? Down?
No.
By a vote of 3-2, it was approved. I'm sorry, I lost track. So, yep.
Oh, sure, Papa's Pizza's closed. What am I gonna have for dinner now?
Bologna sandwich.
I didn't get to the store today.
Meeting adjourned.